Hey everybody, it's Brenner with Crafted Motion Academy, and today I'm going to show you how I would create the abandoned bunker build right here. We're going to hop on over to the Academy, and I'll show you where you can find the tutorial. So at the home page, we'll go ahead and click Classroom, and then we'll click Prompt Vault. And at the bottom of the Prompt Vault, we will see Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 being how to create the images, and Part 2 being how to animate the images. So we'll go ahead and select the entire Part 1, and we're going to copy it into Claude. You can use ChatGPT if you'd like. So I'll paste that here. I'm going to grab my mic. Excuse me, I don't have a nice mic, but this will work. I'm just going to say, I'd like to create this exact build with slight customization. Please ask me a few questions to customize this build. We're going to start with the images, and we're going to go image by image. So that didn't pick up my audio too well. I am using Vowen for audio to text. That's V-O-W-E-N. It's a free version of Whisper. And you might have seen why it's free right there, just kidding. So we're gonna go with Crafted Motion Academy. If you were to copy this in, you can change it to whatever your brand name is. Our own character sheet, so we do have our own character sheet. And we're gonna go with Google Flow Labs. It doesn't really matter too much, whichever one you like to use the most. I don't think it gave me enough customization. So let's try and change it slightly. I want to go with like an Arctic themed vault door. And I want it to be inside of a like massive iceberg. I want to adjust this build to have it be a Arctic style build with a vault door instead of the current door, so a large round door. And then I want it to be in the side of an iceberg. So the interior will have, you know, glass / ice style walls. Wow. And then just so you're aware, while this is loading, I am using Opus 4.6. I found 4.6 to be good enough. Fable 5 is awesome. Soul is also awesome by ChatGPT, but we're sticking with Opus 4.6. So for the starting interior, image 6, what should the derelict space look like before renovation? We'll go with raw ice cave walls. Concrete bunker inside ice. So we'll go with raw ice cave walls and see what that looks like. Finished interior walls, what's your vision for the ice glass look? We'll go with translucent ice glass panel, sounds cool. Frosted glass with LED backlighting. So this build, it does have some wood panels in the previous build, and I'm not sure if like that would mess things up. I might have to make some adjustments to the tutorial, which is fine. But I'm going for somewhat easy because I'm shooting this on a video. So we'll go with the translucent ice glass panels. That may shoot myself in the foot right there. And then for the final furnished reveal, image 12, what vibe are you going for? Yeah, we'll go with wood bunks. So that is loading in the background. I'm going to open up Flow. And I use Flow by Google. It's great for images because you do get unlimited images with your subscription. And you can see I've got about 1,900 credits. I don't really use many credits when I'm creating these images. So, all right, back to Claude. We've got our first prompt. We're trusting that it's good. We will modify it if it's not. So we'll click New Project. And we'll just call this Arctic Abandoned Bunker. So I'll paste that prompt into there, and I'll click Nano Bandana 2. We're gonna go with the 9x16. You can see it's 0 credits, and we'll click Generate. It's 0 credits, but I also paid $200 a month for the Ultra plan. And honestly, Google Flow is full of issues, so I'm considering switching away from Google Flow into maybe like the API version potentially, or something different. So we've got 4 options right away. I like this one because it's more in the center of the, I don't really think that's an iceberg, but I guess that's an iceberg. So I'll enlarge that. It looks a little bit cartoonish. And there's a massive keyhole. I'm gonna hit reroll on that, so I'll just go up here and click reuse prompt and then submit it again. So out of the first 4 options, I don't like these because they're kind of on the edge of the iceberg. I like the door on that one on the far left. But I guess I did ask for a bank vault, so you get what you ask for. Out of these 4, I think I like this one the best. This one's at a slight angle. So I like the door, but I don't like the angle. So this one's more straight on. We'll go with this. So this is going to be our first image. I'm gonna go ahead and download that. I'm gonna hit download 4K upscale. And then this tutorial that we copied in was created for the exact build. So we're customizing it. If something turns out incorrect, we'll have to modify it. So let's hop on over to image 2. So we're gonna wanna adjust this for an Arctic theme. If I generate this, it's combining a little bit of modernization into, well, I guess not modernization, but more urban environment tooling into this build. So like lumber, construction tools. We can try it, but you might want to modify it. So we're going to reference the first image that we chose. So this is our image 1. We'll go ahead and favorite that, and then we'll just drag it as an ingredient into the prompt box. And then we'll paste our image 2 prompt, and we'll go ahead and hit generate. And if we don't like the materials that we get, or if it gives us like a gravel walkway, we can adjust it. So it completely didn't use our reference. I think it might have just taken the, like, how does it take this, all of that? We want to make sure we have the like path stay the exact same, because it's almost too clean. So we're gonna go back to Claude and say, adjust prompt 2 to keep as close to the reference image 1 as possible, making only minor changes. So the frame of the vault door needs to stay the same. It just needs to be a cleaned up version of the reference image. And then the ground leading up to the vault door, I want it to look as close to the same as possible with the additional walkway grate that we have added. Yeah, I don't know why Bowen's acting up today, but it's not recording the last few words that I'm saying, so please bear with me for that. And then once we get image 2, we'll do a side-by-side comparison of image 1 to image 2, because we're looking to make sure that, you know, the key details stay the same, and what we want to change changes. So already it's looking better. You know, this one's kind of a coin toss, so I'll probably go with this guy right here. I don't know why we'd install like a rusty grade system unless we were recycling it. So we're gonna download that as our image 2. And if this works, we're already 1 animation into the build. So we've got a total of 12 animations. So this is going to be a long video. You know, a lot of people don't, I think, quite understand how long these videos take to create. And I'll show you, if you can see my screen. So just clicking between the 2 images. First image, second image, I would say they're staying very close. Everything that we wanted to change. Everything else stayed the same. So we're gonna go to our image 3. And you can follow along in the tutorial to see kind of what the original build looks like. So This was our image 2 that we just generated, you know, the original version, and then here is the image 3 with the character welding. All right, so image 3, get the correct text. And if you're unsure of which references to use, you go back to the tutorial and you can see you've got images 1 and images 2 required to achieve image 3. So we're gonna take our second image, we'll add that in there. We'll get rid of the text from our image 2 prompt, and we'll add in the image 3 prompt. We'll click generate. So this one paints the door and has our character welding somewhere on the door. Yeah, so image 3 needs to be adjusted to make sure that we keep the same frame. I feel like painting the door too probably wouldn't look amazing. I kind of like the chrome finish it's got, I like the bare metal finish. We could maybe do like a brass finish, like a copper painting. I don't know, that really wouldn't make a ton of sense. So maybe we'll just say keep everything the exact same and add in the welder. That'll probably shorten our video a little bit, but we'll go with it. Please keep everything the exact same, but just add the welder into the image. So adjust image prompt 3 accordingly. And that's what I love about AI is I can just talk to it like I have no idea how to speak English and it will pick it up. English is my native language and my brain doesn't always work though. So we've got image 1 and image 2 added. We're adding our new image 3 prompt. We'll go ahead and press generate. Okay. So once again, a little bit of coin toss. I'm gonna go with this guy right here. We'll download it, do our comparison. Probably won't show you again how that's done, just to speed things up a little bit. So we'll kick off image 4. And image 3 looks good, so we'll move on to image 4. This is the welding close-up shot. We only need our image 3 that we just generated. So this, when I created the tutorial, this did take me a few tries to get, so hopefully I get it pretty quick, but we'll drag in our image 3 and we'll go ahead and click generate. And then I like to go through my downloads folder. People use Figma or other ways to organize their images and animations, but I've just use this method and it works for me. But Figma might be worth checking out, something I might consider changing to in the meantime, or in the near future. So we got a few images already. I think I like this one on the far right. It's kind of like a top-down shot. So we'll go with that for our image 4. I don't see anything wrong with it. Hopefully I don't get all the way through the images and realize that it was a bad choice to go with that one. So, moving on to image 5. So this is the finished exterior using images 1 and images 3. And if you want to select, quickly select your images 1 and images 3, you can just go to your favorites folder. So I've got 1, which is the original, 3, so character welding, and I'm going to go ahead and paste in our prompt. Click generate. So image 4 adds lights in. I am struggling to figure out what more I would like to add here. So, I mean, I could go with this. It just isn't, there's not a significant change. I already kind of took my image 2 and reduced what should be changing for that section. So I'm gonna say, yeah, do you think there should be let's rely on AI's creativity. I wanted to go with like a Santa theme, but it's the middle of July in America, so it doesn't make any sense. So we got lights and sealing the door frame. I don't know if I like, we'll look like permanent lights. Yeah, I think we'll just try permanent lights. And with these tutorials, the sky is the limit. I usually add more detail, but because I'm shooting a video while I'm creating this, it's not going to be as detailed. So I'm just kind of showing you the methodology. You can feel free to be as artistic or autistic as you would like. So we're gonna go back to our image 5 that we generated, and I'm just gonna take our previous prompt, delete it, add in our new prompt, press generate. Hopefully we get some more permanent lights. And if I don't, we don't end up liking these, I'm not gonna spend too much time dwelling on it. We'll just go with one of the 4 that we've already generated. I haven't shot a lot of long form style videos, so if you guys have any recommendations too on how I can sound better or look better, please let me know. I'm using my headset microphone, so that would probably be one of the first upgrades. And right away, we're getting these massive lights, which are kind of funny. I'm gonna give it 2 more rounds of generating while we generate the image 6 prompt. So, and you can see why at this point, why the alter plan makes sense, having unlimited generations for these types of videos. Because you really want to get the perfect frame, and you might generate an image and it's just not what you want. So you got to keep iterating to get exactly what you'd like. And all of the lights are rather large and cartoonish. So I'm gonna go with one of the original images, and I think these look semi-real. So we'll go with this for our image 5. I'll click download 4K. And then just best practice, make sure our image 3 and image 5 look very similar, with the only change being the additional lights. So, and it looks like that is good for image 5, so we'll grab our image 6 prompt, copy that, let me just double check. No references, yes. So nothing needed for references. Go ahead and add that image 6 prompt in and click generate. So this is pretty cool. I like what it did with the interior. And I'm gonna go with the third option on the right. It's got kind of the square structure I'm looking for. A couple of these have like a step in the background I don't really like. So we'll go ahead with this for image 6, and we'll download this. So now we are ready for our image 7. So we're taking our image 6, adding it as an ingredient, and then putting our image 7 prompt in here and pressing generate. As far as cleaning the inside of an iceberg, I think that looks like a clean iceberg to me. It removed the internal contents. That's about all you can do. I mean, there's some icicles. I think we should probably remove the icicles. Those will stick down when we do the framing. So we will have to adjust. Please adjust the image 7 prompt to remove the icicles that are hanging down and kind of smooth the ceiling somewhat, like the floor. Any of these would work pretty well. I'll go with this far left. I think one thing you want to make sure with this image is that the floor, the cracks in the floor look the same as a reference image. Or, yeah. So I think this looks pretty good. I'll do a quick comparison. And we'll move on to image 8. Yeah, so that one that I chose looks good. It's not like adding any ice, right? You can only take icicles and material off of the top. You can't add any more. All right, so we've got our image 8 prompt. This takes image 6 and image 7 as references. So we'll copy image 6, image 7, add our image 8 prompt, and press generate. Just to catch up with where we are at, we're now framing the interior. So we've got metal framing. I like that. I think that's a good change. I think the far left looks the best. I'll do a quick comparison and I'll get image 9 ready. So I think I want to go back to image 8. I just remembered we should add some sort of electrical lighting source. So we'll have conduit with like an electrical light bulb drop down at the top, like the ceiling close to the camera frame. So we'll jump back to that. Please adjust the image 8 prompt to add a conduit that enters from the left-hand frame of the image and have it travel up to the center of the ceiling close to the top of the frame and drop down with a light bulb socket. Hopefully this gives me something simple and not too extravagant. So we're just gonna hit rerun, grab our text from our first attempt, and then delete that and add in our new text. And if at all, when you're working through these tutorials and you have any questions, feel free to reach out. It's a lot of trial and error for each build. Like I said earlier, a lot of time goes into these builds, so I've spent many of hours trying to get these just to be perfect. So the first few images are okay. I didn't really ask for the light bulb. I think the far left image looks the best, but it did change, well, it's not true, it didn't change the framing because we didn't have it in there. I'm gonna roll this again. I don't really like the light bulb. Well, make sure our image 9 is updated. Update image 9. And if you're not using voice to text, definitely check it out. It's way faster, even though I just typed. You know, right now I'm following the tutorial. When I'm usually creating the builds for the first time, there's a lot more talking. And that's generally why I like to use Voen, because Claude's voice to text runs out pretty quick and I don't get to finish what I'm saying before I have to re-click. So. I kind of want the widths between each of the pieces of frame to be realistic. This one's added a bunch of additional conduit, but I really like that. I think I'm gonna go with this guy here. And if you ask me why, I don't have a great reason. So we'll go ahead and download that, and we are moving on to our image 9. So that takes images 6 and images 8. Could probably roll with just image 8, but I wrote that in the tutorial, so we're gonna keep it that way. So this was our first version. So here's our image 6, here's our image 8. And there's our image 9 prompt. Just do a quick check. So that last image 8 that we captured works. So we'll click generate. References can be a little bit confusing. I think it took me a while longer than a lot of other people to understand why references are required. But when I first started making these videos, I would just take the latest image that I generated and add that in as a reference, and I'd start to get a lot of distortion, and I just wasn't quite understanding why. But it's like a game of telephone. You know, you keep sending that same message, and eventually that message starts to change slightly over time, and then you just lose. You kind of lose that source frame and scene that you had. So you gotta make sure that you're using the right references. So. One thing I'm realizing, we don't have a light switch. I don't think that's a huge deal, but I'm gonna go ahead and roll with this guy here. Might be one thing to add is some outlets and a light switch for realism. Doing my renaming, making sure everything looks good. So we've got our image 10, which is a close-up shot. This is going to require our character sheet. So let me pull up my character sheet. Inside of the Academy, there is a module called Character Consistency, how to create a character sheet. So feel free to check that out. Yeah, I guess I could show you how to do that. I'm not finding my original character. Maybe this is why people use Figma to stay more organized. You know what? I think we can probably go back to my original video that I created. I'm not going to show how to do that for this video. All right. All right, so we've got our character. We're going to jump back to our current build. And then we are looking for reference sheet. Image is 8 and image is 9, so image 8. Shit. This is why you, oh, it's right there. It's gonna upload. We'll grab our image 10 prompt. This is pretty exciting stuff, I know, just waiting around for things to generate. So this is kind of the brand shot where you can show off your brand. You want to get one that has really like the character or the logo visible. So I think we're gonna give it 2 more. If I could get something that's a little bit closer up to our character, that'd be great. In the meantime, I've done that so many times already. We'll get our image 11 prompt. It's a little bit closer here. I can't really see the words Academy. That's fine. So image 11 is the paneled interior using images 6 and images 9. No comment. So here's our image 6, and then image 9 was the insulated version. We'll paste in our prompt and hit generate. Oh, it looks awesome. So I see the light bulb is changing. It's one thing we want to make sure we keep that the same. So Please adjust the image 11 prompt to ensure that we keep the same light bulb and fixture as the reference images. Yeah, okay, sorry. I didn't notice this, but we added in outlets. Not the most realistic because there's nothing behind them. People will call it out, which might be a good thing. Could you adjust the last prompt to ensure there aren't any outlets or light switches? I might say prompt. A little bit odd. It keeps coming back as prop. I don't know if I love how it's keeping the conduit in there, but the light bulb does look better. Okay. First one looks good, second one, no. I don't know what happened there. I like the style of that. Looks good, but do a quick check, make sure this looks all right. There's some conduit on the side of the wall that isn't visible, but I think that's all right. Yeah, one of the issues became apparent that I didn't notice. And there's like a bend in the conduit going from the ceiling to the side wall. But we'll see if we can get the AI to provide a solution automatically. I wanted to show the raw, unedited version of me creating these videos. I think that'll help people. You know, if I were to just speed everything up, it might confuse some people. So I think this was probably the best way to do it. Okay. So it's keeping the bend. Interesting. I like that. I'll admit, I don't think any of these are great. One more roll. And if you are running on limited generations for your images, don't use this method. Adjust your prompts, talk to the AI, get everything to, you know, take your time a little bit more. Don't, you know, you don't need the ultra plan. When I first started, I was using their AI studio, going image by image, and I would just sit there and wait. I'd get it back and then I would tell it exactly what it did wrong. realistically probably what I did wrong, but it's fun to blame somebody else. Yeah, I don't think any of those are that good either. Out of these two, the one that has all of the trash is actually the best because it keeps the same light bulb and the same height. I would normally go back and correct this, but I don't want to because we're shooting this in one shot. But the best thing to do would be go back to the original image and get a conduit that doesn't close into the center of the room. First one, light bulb's not as high as we need. The only one that added the curved conduit. Well, for the sake of time, take a look at this one. If it looks too bad, I'll fix it. So yeah, we're ready for our final reveal image. Image 12. Okay, so that works. It's good enough. It's something. And you know, I probably shot myself in the foot by adding image 6 in as for scene consistency. So, you know, mess around with your references. All right, so we've got our image 11 added in as a reference. Got our prompt for image 12. We'll go ahead and press generate. I don't really know what this added. I think it's gonna look pretty good. Not sure if I'd live here, I feel like it would be a little bit cold. But we added insulation. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, I just realized we added insulation and it's not visible with these clear ice walls. Whatever. It's cozy. And sometimes creating a build that doesn't make any sense gets a lot of people going in the comments. And you know, I probably would go back and correct that, but I'm all right without doing that. So I added my sign in here. Obviously, change this to your brand. I think this one looks pretty good. We'll do our final check. All right, so that looks fine. We've got all 12 of our images. Now we're going to move on to the animation. So we'll go back to the Academy, select part 2, and then just grab everything, copy. Yeah, there's gonna be one animation we create where all we have is one of the characters walk in and he starts welding. So you probably want to do more. You know, you've got other animations where a ton is happening, so you might as well make use of the 8 seconds you've got. And I usually like to go prompt by prompt for these tutorials. Otherwise, I might need to change something and have to have the AI go back and recreate it from scratch. So, starting with clip 1, this is a image to image. So we're using VEO 3.1. So going over to video, 9:16. We've got fast, light, or there's the free version, which is lower priority. We'll go with fast. I haven't noticed much of a difference between fast and quality. So we're going to add in our start frame and our end frame. So we'll select frames for the type of video. Favorites, going down to our image 1, and then our image 2. We'll go ahead and press generate. So we'll go to, while clip 1 is generating, we'll generate clip 2 as well. So we're going with clip 2, or image 2 and image 3 as starting frame and end frames. I don't know if that needs to be a hyperspeed time lapse, but oh well. And you can also you can adjust your duration. I could have shortened that last animation slightly. So just doing a quick preview on these. If there are any that look good. I think that first one might be all right. This third one would be all right. Even better. All right, assuming the audio. That's a little loud. I think that's okay. So if there's no music playing, it's the main thing. I think we're good with our second one, so let's make sure the audio is okay there as well. Looks good. So I usually try to follow the instruction here of not upscaling 2 videos at once. Not sure what'll happen if I do, but in the meantime, we've got our prompt 3. Grab that using our image 3 as a reference. Sorry, image 4. And then, yeah, in the background, I'm renaming things still. So I'm just calling our first clip, clip 1. So I'm generating 4 of these at a time. I've got the credits to spend. My subscription's going to renew. I would probably recommend just doing 1 at a time. So far these have been pretty bulletproof and I'm not having to change anything. All right, so moving on to clip 4. This is going image 3 to image 5. Go to our favorites, 1, 2, 3, 5. So this is really just a light install. I thought when I chose the Arctic idea, it would be extremely cool. It's a cool environment, but I don't imagine there's like a lot of things you can do to make it unique. Like if I were to do a jungle theme, I could add torches, tikis, a hammock. You know, you can do more. In the Arctic, there's probably not a lot you can really add. So clip 4 should be pretty bulletproof. We'll do the POV door entry. This one does, this might take a few generations. So we're going with starting frame, image 5, end frame, image 6. It's like he adds these wired lights and then the wire dissolves. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick change to that prompt. Please adjust clip 4 so the lights that are being installed are wireless lights. All right, so we're just gonna hit reuse. We'll select the original text, add our new text in and press generate. While that is loading, we'll go with our clip 5. So that's odd. Not good. So we're looking for a point of view shot. Right now, it looks as though there's a character in front of the camera. So that might need to be corrected. And we want our character to open it like a hatch from the right side of the door opening and swinging on the hinge, which is on the left. That's hard to describe to AI sometimes, so this might take a few attempts. Please adjust the clip 5 animation prompt to ensure that this is a point of view shot, as though our character is holding an iPhone 15 and that they are walking forward. They are grabbing the right side of the vault hatch door and they are swinging it open on the hinge that is on the left side of the vault door. That's okay. Even better. Hopefully the audio is good. So that was our, is that clip 4? Yep. And then we're going back to our clip 5. And this might take a few generations to get this to work. Hopefully I don't hit a limit. All right, so we're gonna go back up to our original prompts and going back to clip 6, which is the interior cleanup. Gotta wait for this to load. Finished at 21%, that makes sense. All right, now what we're looking for. The hinge is correct, but our character is walking in front of the camera. Still walking in front of the camera. Please adjust clip number 6 so our character does not walk in front of the camera. There should be no characters visible in this shot. When the arm reaches for the door, it's as though the character is behind the camera. I hate to produce so many generations and they're all terrible, but I'm trying to do this pretty quickly. Oop. All right, fingers crossed. We get a good clip 5. If we don't, this time around, I'll probably just choose one of the others and just go with it. So going back up to clip 6, we'll get this started. This is the cleanup segment. So we're taking our abandoned bunker and we are cleaning it up. And if I wanted to make this a little bit more customized, what I would do is just take the starting frame and the end frame that I've already generated from my downloads folder, put it into Claude and say, here's the 2 images for clip 6. Please create the cleanup prompt customized for this starting frame and this end frame. And then it might add additional detail like, I don't know, shoveling, melting the icicles, stuff like that. Okay. I think we have oh, all right. I love just the zombie walk with one arm forward, trying to open the door. So we've got our clip 5, and now we're going back to our clip 6. And okay, so it automatically added shoveling, some icicles, icicle removal. There is a little bit of a jump. I think as minimal jumps as possible. Yeah, like there's a pretty good jump. Oh, definitely not that one. And we got 2 people working. Too big of a jump. Okay, I think that's good. Other than the guy taking the material and it just folding in on itself, I think this is something. And these, because they're at 400% speed, it does cover up a lot of the imperfections. So on to clip 7. Using start frame image 7 and frame 8. This is the framing. Go ahead and start that. This should be, I think, pretty easy. It's metal framing. Not in real life, but in AI world it is. 8 to 9, so. Then the insulation's coming after. What was that, 8 to 9? Oh. So we definitely don't want the light bulb to turn on. I mean, it would be the worst thing. I added an extra light bulb and took it out. So we've got this guy here. So, looks good to me. So we want to choose one of the installation install clips, which kind of pauses right around here, because that's where our character is going to do the close-up of the installation drop. Overall, this one looks pretty good. So we'll go with that. Now we're going to run our close-up insulation install. Going to find the close-up shot. So there's no end frame here. And it does call out our Craft in Motion Academy logo, so even though it's covered up slightly in the starting frame, it might be able to interpret it correctly. Yeah, and if anybody has recommendations to my workflow to make things faster, please leave a comment. Let me know. Always open to learning new things. All right, getting that fiberglass all up in his lungs. It would be nice if he took the large bundle of insulation and kind of worked it down a little bit, but we could also try adding a little bit of a camera zoom. Throw that in there. Could you please adjust the clip 9 animation so the camera is continuing to glide in towards our character as he's performing the action? All right. So we're rerunning our insulation close-up. We've got our glass ice paneling next. So grabbing that image. We haven't hit any errors using Google Flow, which is amazing and extremely rare. Nice, okay. That's all right. Our character's face is a little bit deformed, but so is mine, so I think it's okay. So we will grab that, roll with it for our close-up shot. And I goofed here. I grabbed the wrong starting frame. So we want the non-close-up version. So we're gonna run that again. A lot of people use OpenArt and Higgsfield for generating their videos. Google produces VEO 3.1, so usually going directly to the source is going to be cheaper than going through a third party. So I'd recommend using Google Flow if you're using VEO 3.1, Kling if you're using Kling 3.0 or whatever the latest is. And then for CDance 2.0, I believe Dreamina is the ByteDance's website, so I recommend going there as well. I don't love any of these. For the sake of the video, I think we'll just go with that one. I can't say I like how he just adds a panel at the opening in the ceiling. It just doesn't seem super realistic. So we are grabbing our image 12. So we've got our image 11, image 12. And we've got our animation 11 prompt. So this is the furnishing animation. And we can start our final walk-in animation as well. So we've got our image 12 as a starting frame, no end frame, and then we have our animation 12 here. Just about perfect other than adding the first aid kit and then removing the first aid kit. So if we could, yeah, that's gonna be incorrect as well. We're gonna run that batch one more time. This is the animation 12, so our character's walking into the room. I'm not a big fan of, them looking left. I'm looking for like just a glide into the room. That one's not terrible. I could probably edit it a little bit, but we'll run it. don't think that, yeah. I think if this fails again, and it did, we may have to adjust the prompt. Please adjust the clip 11 prompt so the character places the first aid kit in the end frame only. Make sure he does not add any additional first aid kits. They cannot spawn in and randomly be deleted. Anything that enters the clip has to be hand carried by our character. Nothing can spawn and be randomly deleted. So that's better. You can see the prompt probably needs to be cleaned up. They're all trying to look left right away, but this one's, I think, good enough. It's definitely a tough part about making these videos because I'm somewhat of a perfectionist myself, and knowing when to move on can be tough. But when you're running things at 400% speed, people aren't going to notice. At this point, a lot of people know AI right away, but there's a lot of people that don't even care that it's AI. There's people that just love watching the ASMR build videos, seeing the different ideas. It's kind of like a digital art. So I think there'll always be a need or a desire, I guess, for digital art. All right, I got sidetracked. All right, so last animation, fingers crossed, that last prompt fix resolves the first aid kit issue. Nope, that did not. Nope. Gotta love it. All right, well, while this is running, we're going to begin importing our animations into DaVinci Resolve. So I'm gonna open DaVinci. So I'll open my first build. And there's definitely easier ways to do this, but all of this is just my watermark information. And then this is everything else. So I guess before I delete this, I should save this. So I'm gonna get rid of all the old video files. If you're starting a new build, you can disregard all of this. Looks like we're about done with clip 12, so check this out. That's the wrong spot. These are the types of things where you could spend you could spend so much time trying to fix one imperfection. At this point, this is one of the last clips. Like if people have watched, the clip so far, it counts as a view. This is one way to look at it. Not the best thing, you don't want to produce low quality content. We're running it. All right, so we've got clips 1 through 10 and 12. I'm gonna drag, drop those in here. And then I'm just gonna highlight them all. Insert selected clips to timeline. Everything in this build, other than the close-ups, are going to be 400% speed. So there's this chain or link selection. We'll keep that on. So each time I grab a file, it'll select the audio and the video at the same time. So we don't want our welding animation. That's going to be 200%. And then we've got our insulation drop, that's at 200%. So I think I should be able to do a change clip speed. These are all going to go up to 400%. Close to it. These are both going to be at 200%. That's a welding clip, the insulation drop. All I'm doing is right click, change clip speed. And then the last walkthrough, we're gonna try 150. I think it's 150. And there might be a faster way to do this. Seems like there should be, but this is kind of fun. All right, there's no shelf there. She really wants to add that first aid kit. Maybe I should look at the actual prompt. We're going back to the original. Please adjust the original clip 11 prompt that you provided to me And make sure the last thing that occurs in the animation is that the first aid kit is placed. First aid kit. All right. All right, so we'll go back to DaVinci while that is generating. So I'll zoom in on clip 1. All I'm gonna do is trim any of the areas where no work is, like we don't see our character, we're gonna trim that off. So we've got a fraction of a second there, and then our character leaves right here. So that is all trimmed off. We're doing the same thing to each of these clips. The last frame you see where the character is doing something, you'll keep, everything else is cut off. And you can either use the slicer tool, the blade tool, or you can just drag the end. I don't know, either one. And with this clip in particular, we only need about right there. So we're gonna take everything off because we have a slow-mo, not a slow-mo, we have a slower clip of the close-up of our character welding. So we also don't want that to be an extremely long clip. We only want 1 second. I'm gonna trim a little bit off the front. Pull that clip over just a tad. And we're gonna drag that down to about 1 second. And then clip 4. By this time our character is just finishing welding. Already showed that. And then it's the light install, lights are on. I don't know if we need to show the character walking all the way. I think as long as the lights are on, that's good. So about another second of animation there. Clip 5, our zombie walk to the hatch door open. I'm gonna trim a little bit, about right there, so we get a nice cross dissolve. I originally used Filmora for editing videos, and then their subscription got extremely pricey, so I switched over to DaVinci Resolve, and that's been pretty good. Don't have a lot of complaints. So just trimming off a little bit on the front. I don't think anything's really happening between these two. Looks like the light changes. In a second, I'll jump back over that clip we were generating. So this is the 200% speed. I only want this to be like a second. Posture check. Oh, right. Oh, 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 my guy. Last shot. Nah, all right, we're just gonna go with this one. So our our clip 11 is upscaling. We're gonna go back to DaVinci. Got a nice eerie noise. That is what the inside of the iceberg sounds like, if you guys didn't know. So we're gonna cut this down to 3 seconds. And then our clip 11 just came in. Drag clip 11 down to the timeline. This will be another 400% speed clip. If I'm moving extremely quick or extremely slow, sorry. So trimming a little bit off the front. Everything's in place. Not that quite yet. I like to add cross dissolves. I think that really helps with continuity, and I recommend adding these. You don't want them to be too long. You just, take a look at the end product, see what looks good. I think you can even apply to all, but there's not too many clips. So, I'll go ahead and play this through. So, yeah, overall it's pretty good. There's one change I would make, and that is going to be the insulation step. Just for one additional level of realism. So our character drops the insulation right on that kind of second opening or gap. So maybe about right here, we cut it. And then we put our close-up insulation drop right there. Add our cross dissolve back in. I don't know if that would work. DaVinci's kind of odd how you have to trim it to get the cross dissolve to work. Line everything back up. I'll take a look at it. All right. So at this point, I just take my watermark from my last video, paste it on top. There's a module on how to create a watermark inside the Academy if you want to take a look at that. But that's really it. It did take a little bit of time, and the total video length is about 20 seconds. And I think it turned out pretty good. There's a few changes I would have made if I had more time to keep generating, but I'm happy with the end product. So if you have any questions, please reach out. And I appreciate you guys watching. Have a great day.